Hi, this is Amanda, and today I'm talking to Sumeet Vyas about Tripling 3, finally. So, Sumit, why this huge gap of 3 years? I mean, I had to rewatch the series just so it would be fresh in my mind when I watch the next one.
Yes. Uh, it just took that much time, yeah. Once we came out with the second season, I think one, we were all busy doing a lot of other things, and secondly, we didn't have much to say, so we didn't just want to make a season because it's a popular franchise and let's cash in on it. It was never. It's not the way I function, or I think even TVF functions, which I'm glad it is that way. So it took us time, and then बीच में COVID हो गया, मेरा बच्चा भी हो गया, so we were
Yeah.
all doing other things, and it only helps when we revisit it because by the time I came up with the third season's core idea, I discussed it with Arnav. I said, I have a bunch of ideas where these directions we can take the show in, and he was very happy and he said, yeah, yeah, I like this one better. Let's go in that direction. So by then, even we were itching to make it, and that's always a good sign when we've waited for it so long, and now we really have this story that we badly want to tell. So that's why it took time.
I saw that video of your son taking his first steps, watching Sholay. Like, he's
Yes.
already, going after his father, being a movie fan.
Huh.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
Also, you once called yourself an accidental writer who hates pen and paper, but you keep writing one web series after another. How is your relationship with writing right now? How has that changed?
It's changed over the years. It's very therapeutic for me. I really look forward to the writer's room whenever we start on a new project. I have now a bunch of people who I regularly collaborate with. In this season, I collaborated with Abbas Dalal. He's my co-writer on the show. He's written a bunch of other big films. भुवन बाम की जो शो है उसमें भी वो लिखता था, सारी बड़ी बड़ी फिल्में लिखते हैं वो, और मेरे दोस्त हैं, इसलिए ही इज ग्रेशियस इनफ टू आल्सो कंट्रीब्यूट एंड कोलैबोरेट विद मी. Gopal Tiwari also joined the writers' room briefly. And Aruna Kumar, of course, he's always the biggest collaborator that you can work with. And the good part is that he's not just a producer, he's also a creator first and then a producer. So when you take an idea to him, he adds value to that idea. He adds value to the existing story rather than just looking at the productional aspect of it, or you know so he's always played a huge part in the scripting process.
Also, as writers, how do you use the feedback that you get? Like, the first season of Tripling had rave reviews, but there were few complaints when season two came. So, did you use that feedback when you were writing the third season?
Yes, of course. I mean, we learn from our mistakes, and which is why, I mean, I don't feel the need to play it safe. I hate that because I mean, we could have been doing anything else in life, but we chose to do this, write and act and create things. So if we don't experiment here and if we don't try new things here, then what's the point of being in this profession? Uh, again, I mean, second season we tried a bunch of things. Some worked, some didn't, and that's fine. Then we learn from those mistakes, and then we've tried to imply our learnings in the third season, and try to keep things more crisper and more to the point. And let's hope it lands this time.
I was reading the comments on trailer, and you have acquired a loyal fan base. People were calling you OTTs for superstar. And then I saw this interview of yours where, from 6 years ago, where you said that in 2, 3 years, OTT will have a huge boom. It will be on the top, which has happened right now. Bang on that prediction, by the way. So,
Yeah,
how do you feel about this fan base that you have, such a loyal fan base?
it's very overwhelming actually. It's lovely, and it's a very different kind of whatever fan base or following or admiration that people have. It's not they're not starstruck by you. like I'm starstruck by Rajnikant. He's a movie star. He's an enigma for me. But actors and characters from web series feel like they're like
Yeah.
us, you know.
Yeah.
So if they see me somewhere at the airport or on the road or whatever, they don't feel intimidated. They approach me and they have a conversation with me, and I quite like that. That's a much nicer equation to have with people.
That's so nice. And I definitely hope to run you somewhere someday so we
Yeah.
can have that conversation. Okay, so you're playing Chandan, but
Yeah.
if you have to name your favorite character from Tripling, would you name someone else?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I my favorite characters have always been my parents in the show because those are very aspirational characters for me. I wanted to aspire to be a parent like that who would not who'd be so open, with almost unrealistically open with their kids, and allow them so much room in life to explore and falter and learn. It's easier said than done because now I understand I have a child and I'd probably be struggling at some point. So they were always my favorite characters, and for some reason, we couldn't really bring them in the forefront in the last two seasons. I did try a little bit in the second season, but it didn't really come together as much. The story was majorly revolving around the three characters. But this season, we definitely had that, and I was uh, really proud of the fact that we got to do exactly how we wanted the story to happen. That support we got from Aruna and TVF didn't chicken out when we eventually came down to writing the show.
So, how many times in a day or a month do you hear "Baba, you're beautiful"? Are you irritated of it yet?
No, no, it's a very sweet thing. People say that, and I mean, it just shows that the show is done really well, and it's touched so many people, and it's struck a chord with so many people. Uh, wow, it's a good thing.
Okay, so I was listening to this TED talk of yours, and I heard this story, which was then I realized that the scene in season two where Chitvan fires that bomb in the principal's office, that happened, that you did in real life. So
Yeah,
सीजन 3 में भी ऐसा कुछ है जहाँ पे अपने रियल लाइफ से इंस्पिरेशन लेके कोई सीन लिखा हो?
बहुत सारे. I've traveled a lot in real life, and I mean, so the two things that I wanted to address in season three in this realm is one is that uh, this generation of kids, and I'm myself included, uh, we feel that we are very open and we are very bold and we are very receptive, and our parents are a little stuck up.
Hmm.
But to come to think of it, it's the other way around because they come from a very different time. They come from the time of writing letters and telegrams, and where there was telephone and trunk calls and typewriters, and they've adapted so much, with the advent of the cell phone, social media, and the choices that people make these days. They want to study something, but do something else, and then do something else. They want to become entrepreneurs and then fail at those things, and it's all cool. They want to accept it. We want them to understand it. But if they ask us to accept something that they want to do, something as simple as going to, I don't know, a family function where you'll have cows and chachas and it'll be kind of not
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
We don't want to do that. And we think that, oh, this is so like boring and whatever. They're so stuck up and they don't understand that we can't go to these places. And I'm like, but they are doing a lot actually. They are being okay with a lot of things that make them uncomfortable, but they do that for us. So the least we could do is understand when they expect something out of us. So one was that, and second, I felt that we always take our parents for granted, emotionally, especially. We think that they are always there for us, and that's their job in life. That's why they were born. We don't even say address mom and dad separately. We just say parents.
Yeah.
It's like a package deal, and they have to be present. And when we do our things and do our experiments in life, and when we are busy, of course, we can't meet them. And then when there is a problem, we are of course going to come back to them, and they should be right there and address our problem. And once our problem is resolved, we can just go back to flying. Uh, but this time, I wanted them to fly. I wanted them to explore and do embark on their own journey and see how the kids respond to it. And my characters responded very disappointingly because they were being like
Separated.
stuck up people. They were like, what are my friends going to think? And what are my in laws going to think if my parents behave like this? And, it is affecting my life so much. And how can you do this to us? And without even realizing uh, they have a life and they want to do things.
Wow.
So I really hope that this makes sense and it comes together.
Uh, so while Kumud and Shanaz have a bigger role this season, but हम जो भी tripling देखते आ रहे हैं, we also want that sibling banter and that come out. So would that has that been compromised because of the focus on parents?
No, उसके बिना तो शो बन ही नहीं सकता. That is the show. So this is the catalyst, the what they what the parents are doing. But now how they respond to it, how they react to it, how do they come to terms with it, or do they stop their parents, or do they convince their parents to not go on this journey, or were the parents just lying to them so that they could put some sense into the kids? What was that all about? That's the show. So I don't think there is a single scene in which the three are not there. We were trying to, even when we were shooting, generally what happens is that, okay, आज मेरा scene नहीं है, आज तुम्हारा scene है, तो मैं आराम कर लूंगा. But there was no such day. Every day, everybody was present. So
Okay.
I didn't realize it while writing, but while shooting, I was like, "Arey, I have no off days. We're just together all the time."
Okay, last question. This first season you had this crazy shoot experience where a truck driver really bothered you. ऐसा कुछ crazy anecdote from this year's filming as well?
A little bit. I mean, we went on a trek in the show. The family leaves on a trek, and trek comes up with its own challenges. It was quite cold when we were shooting, and so I remember one of these scenes where we are all outside. We were decked up for cold weather, but that day was really hot. I don't know what happened. And I mean, we had it that day because we were layered and layered. We had some 3 layers of clothes and shoes, and we were shooting in a very hot weather, so it wasn't pleasant. And one day we had to shoot a sequence where our director decided that, we should have rain. This scene makes sense if it rains. We had to create artificial rain. And that day it turned out to be extremely cold. It was some 5 or 6 degrees or something. And we were out in the mountains. And बहुत भिगो यार उस दिन हमको. A whole day, we were just freezing under that freezing weather, and we couldn't even say our lines at some point. We were just like because it was so cold. There's nothing we could do.
And then shooting on
So,
that bike, that scooter.
oh yeah, it was a lethal motorcycle that they found because it had no brakes. And it had no alignment. So it would just go anywhere. Like if you're riding straight and if the road turns, the bike turns. So you are just like, you had to bear the weight of 3 people and that motorcycle all the time. And we were shooting on an actual winding road in the hills. So you know how people drive on those roads. The
Yeah.
regular Innova walas, how they
Hmm.
go. So we were like, अरे बाप रे आज गया. तीनों ट्रिपलिंग साथ में निपट जाएंगे ऐसा लग रहा है.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to the next season and all the best to you. It was
Thank
lovely
you.
talking to you.
Thank
Thank you. Bye.
you. Bye bye.